We have some updates on Eli Roth's Thanksgiving, a new Sydney Sweeney horror flick, and Scream 7. Let's get into it all. Welcome to the second channel, everybody. My name is Taylor Swift, and today we're talking a little bit about horror in general. Believe it or not, that's what we talk about on this page every time you guys click on a video. All right, anyways, Eli Roth's Thanksgiving is returning to theaters this weekend for some reason. Now, we have some reasons in this bloody disgusting article that I'm using today. That may be why it's returning. It actually some pretty interesting stuff here. So first of all, it's coming back to just a select 500 plus theaters, possibly to bring in maybe 50 million to the recent slasher flick that only made 46 million worldwide. If they release it for one more weekend, I mean, it can definitely get like $4 million bucks, you know? Even if just a couple of people go, there you go. Yeah, they can make that. This bloody disgusting article also details that they might be trying to promote the DVD and Blu-ray release, which is coming up soon on January 30th. That's just a couple of days away at this point. So if you missed Thanksgiving, it's back in theaters this weekend. Go check it out one more time. I saw it twice in theaters. I loved this movie. It's based off of that faux Grindhouse trailer from all the way back in the mid-thousands that Eli Roth made. He made it into a whole feature now. Pretty awesome stuff. I loved it. I thought it was great. It's a really fun slasher whodunit with some gory ass kills. Or if you've already seen the film and you want to own it, on January 30th, comes out on DVD and Blu-ray. Maybe we'll get a 4K of this bad boy soon too. Going into update number 2, we have a brand new flick from producer Jordan Peele and director Dev Patel, who also did movies like Slumdog Millionaire, a movie I actually really enjoy. I'm not crazy about like Oscar bait movies. I think a lot of people would throw that into that category, which is fair, but I don't know. I found enjoyment in that one. I watch it from time to time. Monkey Man looks insane though. I don't know if you guys have seen the trailer for this one yet. It just came out. Fucking awesome. Like, it may not be a horror film, so to say, but it looks like it's gonna be very bloody, very brutal action flick here, coming from Jordan Peele too, who, as this bloody disgusting article details, actually pushed for the film to get a theatrical release from Universal, which is crazy. It was originally just gonna go straight to Netflix, but he loved this one so much, he's like, no, this has gotta go to theaters. We have to see this on the big screen. It's going out there on April 5th, very close to the release of the new Radio Silence movie Abigail, which I think is exciting. So we're gonna be getting two pretty crazy over-the-top horror-ish flicks around the same time. This seems to be much more of a revenge movie, though. Let's talk a little bit about what it's about. Inspired by the legend of Hanuman, I think that's how you pronounce that, an icon embodying strength and courage, Monkey Man stars Patel as Kid, an anonymous young man who ekes out a meager living in an underground fight club where night after night, wearing a gorilla mask, he is beaten bloody by more popular fighters for cash. After years of suppressed rage, Kid discovers a way to infiltrate the enclave of the city's sinister elite. As his childhood trauma boils over, his mysteriously scarred hands unleash an explosive campaign of retribution to settle the score with the men who took everything from him. It sounds like an awesome classic revenge flick. I'm very excited for it. Maybe it'll have like a John Wick vibe about it. I mean, look at this poster. Hang on, just real quickly. Does that not give you a John Wick vibe right there? Come on. Just a little bit. And there's nothing wrong with that. Hey, listen, as long as it's not the same plot as John Wick, you can do a revenge story without it being about some guy's dog. That's all I'm saying. You know, we kind of just got that in The Beekeeper, which is a movie I just wasn't crazy about. I mean, it's John Wick, but instead of a dog dying, it's an old woman. It's the same thing. Oh, and also the other thing that's added in there is bee puns, consistent bee puns and knowledge about bees. I mean, if you want to learn more about bees, I recommend The Beekeeper with Jason Statham, but wow, that was a skip. Anything from Monkey Paw Productions too, Jordan Peele's production company, pretty much worth a watch 9 times out of 10. So, I don't know. I cannot see this movie being bad. I'm very excited for it. That trailer is very promising. Another movie I'm very excited for now that I've seen the trailer is Immaculate, coming from Neon, a very underrated company. You know, we always talk about A24 when it comes to indie horror releases, but Neon doesn't get enough love, man. I mean, they put out a lot of movies from the Cronenbergs lately, if it's Crimes of the Future, Infinity Pool, Possessor. This is off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure Neon is responsible for a movie called The Lodge, which is really good as well. I couldn't recommend that one more if you're like someone who's a fan of like the weird indie horror thrillers. I loved all those movies that I've just talked about. So good. Neon is a great company, very underrated. They don't get talked about enough. Lots of great stuff from them in the realm of horror. I'm imagining Immaculate will be down that same vein. I don't know if I'm like the biggest Sydney Sweeney fan. I don't know if I'm losing my mind going to see everything that she does, but I have seen a lot of performances from Sydney lately that I've actually been really impressed by. I don't mean to sound like I was expecting her to be bad. Coming out on March March 22nd. Like I said, the trailer just dropped today. If you have not seen it, I would recommend checking it out. It's a red band trailer though, so if you're someone who's maybe a little younger watching this, I would recommend maybe skipping it. You get to see some, well, there's some stuff in there that children probably should not be viewing. That's all I'm saying. Immaculate is about a woman named Cecilia, played by Sydney Sweeney, a woman of devout faith who is offered a fulfilling new role at an illustrious Italian convent. That's one of my favorite words, illustrious. Great stuff. Her warm welcome to the picture-perfect Italian countryside is soon interrupted as it becomes clearer to Cecilia that her new home harbors some dark and horrifying secrets. Now, what we learned from the trailer is that this is a very similar film to The Nun 2, believe it or not. Not the same movie, definitely not the same movie, but similar. Sydney Sweeney's character appears to be pregnant with what I think could be the Antichrist, or what, everyone here is saying is like God, reborn or whatever. Obviously, I think this movie is going to touch on some religious commentary. Like I said, if you saw the trailer, you kind of know what I'm talking about here. But I'm excited for this one. I think it's going to be fun. I don't mind when horror movies kind of dive into that realm, use it for commentary, whatever. I'm all about that personally. So I'm really excited for this one. Comes out on March 22nd. It's one of the many horror releases we're getting in March, which is going to be nuts. Look out for Immaculate. Neon rarely misses, in my opinion. And finally, we got a small Scream 7 update. Nothing I'm going to put on the main page. It's just Hayden Panettiere breaking her silence, as this news article overhypes a little bit, talking a little bit about Melissa Barrera's firing from Scream. As a lot of us know, Melissa Barrera was recently fired from Scream 7 for posting some stuff on her Instagram page, specifically about the Israel-Hamas war. The actress shared a post that called the violence happening in Gaza genocide and ethnic cleansing. Spyglass basically was like, yeah, no, we have a zero tolerance for anti-Semitism or the incitement of hate in any form. Once again, I'm not really here to comment on the political side of all of this, but what I would recommend is that if you want to learn more about what Melissa Barrera is sharing on her Instagram, like if you don't know, if you're like, I really don't know what's going on, I want to learn more, I would recommend actually listening to the people who are in Gaza. That's something that I don't see anyone really saying. They're just saying, hey, support this link. Here's a link. Check this out. Go do the research on your own. If you want to become an expert, become an expert. Don't listen to random accounts on the internet to get your political news. I would actually go to the source is what I would recommend. That's why I'm personally not talking about it. I'm not an expert on geopolitics. But anyways, while speaking to The Messenger in a recent interview, Hayden Panettiere, who of course plays Kirby Reed in Scream 6 and Scream 4, called Barrera's firing very unfair and upsetting. She added after she spoke out, then a whole bunch of other actors and people in the industry started to do the same thing, right? It was almost like she did it earlier than everyone else. Hayden also talked about how she checked in with Melissa saying, a lot of people hadn't really asked her how she felt. Melissa is such a badass as a human being and as an actress. She was hurt by it, but I think she took it in stride and was very, very gracious about it. I once again want to express that I feel like it was a massive mistake from Spyglass to fire Melissa Barrera, and I feel like just a simple conversation could have been had and cleared all of this up. I think she's great. Sam Carpenter is so good in these movies. She's one of my favorite final girls of all time. She's slowly getting up there. She's in the top 10, I think, and it would have been nice to have seen one more movie with her, Honestly, I would have loved one more movie with the core four, and Kirby Reed coming back too, maybe having a more significant role in the next film. So it's a shame that doesn't seem to be likely, that doesn't seem to be happening. I have some sources on the inside telling me that's probably not going to happen. I don't know if I can say that or not. I might get in trouble for that. It seems like the most likely route for Scream 7 will be bringing back Neve Campbell, but Spyglass is going to have to drive the money truck up to her house with a handwritten apology after what happened with Scream 6. So that's the most likely scenario. I think Scream 7, the best bet for the film at the moment, is that we get a movie that focuses on Sydney and her family, Sydney being a mother now, which we've never seen in a Scream movie. Sure, like Scream 5 a little bit, but I want to see like Sydney protecting her family. You know what I mean? Listen, if we can't get Sam Carpenter, who, has become the new lead of Scream, I'll gladly take Sydney Prescott again. She's fantastic. I love her too. And listen, while Sam Carpenter is on my top 10 list of final girls, I would say she's maybe like 10, 9, 8, like in that range, Sydney Prescott's like number 1. So I'm not going to be complaining about none of that. I'm totally down to see Neve back in the focal point of this franchise. Totally down for that as well. And I'd love to see Hayden Panettiere come back too. What do you guys think about these updates though? Leave me something about it in the comments below.